All right, welcome everybody to our Monday night skills call. If I haven't met you, my name is Danielle Lover, and I am super proud to be a part of this amazing Boom Squad leadership team. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on live with us tonight. We know these skills calls are kind of at different time zones for all of us because we're all spread out, and it's super convenient for some, not super convenient for others. But every Monday, I just love that we get to show up together in our rare form, whether we're eating dinner, just putting kids to bed, post workout. I didn't do much to get ready for you guys tonight because I'm going out to the trampoline after this with my kids. Gonna mute a couple more lines here, sorry. But I'm just super excited to be with you guys. So we're gonna try and keep this under the 30-minute mark. And I'm going to actually be sharing with you guys tonight a training that one of my good friends, RVP Brittany Beaver, I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she's a fantastic regional vice president in Cecilia Stoll's organization. And she just did a call, and I thought it was super powerful. And Cecilia actually was like, everybody needs to hear this. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take her training. I voxed her this morning. I was like, I'm doing your training tonight. And bless her heart, she offered to actually jump on and do it. But I said, you've got too much going on. So I'm actually going to just share a little bit about her. I'm going to take her training and share it with you guys tonight because I think it's so important. First of all, we have one day left in the month of April. Cannot believe it. And I know that we're having many are just having an incredible month. Sponsoring numbers are up. There's momentum, people working to finish huge goals. And I'm just so excited to see what's happening in our success line. And I know that this is just the beginning of a huge wave of momentum. I was talking with somebody earlier that was a part of the Canadian conference that they just had. And we have this, Mallory, I have a few girls who can't get in. That's weird, Mel. I don't know, because it's the same. Just make sure they're looking at the current invitation and not like last week's or something, because the number changes every week. But I don't have a waiting room or anything, so I can't do anything to help you with that. I'm sorry. And make sure they're not calling. Since my Zoom number is my phone number, I always get calls randomly at the beginning of Zooms because I think people think they can just dial the number and send. So make sure they're putting the code into the Zoom. Anyways, she was at the Canadian conference, and we have this amazing new director of marketing. Her name's Lori. I can't even tell you her last name, but she's fantastic. And she was talking about how she just presented to Group Rocher, basically our parents, 150-page PowerPoint on her vision for where she wants to take the marketing side and the product side of Arbonne over the next 5 years. And as she was talking about just her vision for the next 5 years, she said that Group Rocher was literally coming out of their seat. They were so excited. And it just made the whole room in Canada so excited about what is coming for Arbonne. So you guys, the momentum, we can feel it in our organization, right? Like we're starting to see so much brewing. And I'm telling you guys, now is the time to really put into action what I'm going to talk about tonight. And that is about how activity leads to the goal. And so all credit goes to Brittany Beaver. And fun fact, for those of you who know who Dr. Tom Barrett is, he's an incredible business coach and author. He actually wrote the book, Dare to Dream, Work to Win, which I know many of us have read early on in our Arbonne journeys. And Dr. Tom Barrett is actually Brittany's godfather. And so when she was looking for a way to make extra income, he was like, you really need to look at this company, Arbonne. It's like the best in the industry. And she actually started her business without even using any of the products. And so I just think it's so cool that we've got people like that out advocating for our company. And so I know that our journeys, we all have lots of ups, we have lots of downs. And sometimes we feel really excited about activity, and sometimes we feel really depressed and stagnant in our activity, right? And what Brittany talked about so much in this training is that when we are not feeling excited about our activity or we're not feeling connected, it's because we're not connecting our vision to our activity. And so it's if we don't know where we're going, right, it's hard to get to where we want to go. It's the whole GPS analogy. Like before we actually had the GPSs on our phone or in our cars, we would never just get in the car and attempt a 2-hour road trip without going to mapmyride.com or something, having the printout of the turn-by-turn directions or having the atlas in your car. And we all know that if we're trying to get somewhere and we're just taking random left and right turns, it's going to be a much longer and more frustrating journey than it is if we just actually have a vision of where we're going and how we're going to get there. And so why is vision so important is because it just continues to remind us why we're doing what we're doing. And so it doesn't just feel like activities, right? I can remember, back in the early part of my journey, I started connecting my activity to vision immediately. When we start somebody, we have them write down what their goals are. We used to write down our 21 reasons why. I know some people still do that, some people don't. But I would have vision boards and post-it notes all over my house when I was working for something. And that always kept me so focused on the goal that I was working towards. And I was able to break down the activity to help me get towards that vision that I had created. And so for a lot of us, I feel like, and again, we're starting to see that shift because we are in some crazy, the momentum is brewing, but I think a lot of people right now, felt like they're persevering. They felt like they were doing the right activity and they just felt like they were spinning their wheels. And you guys, I'm telling you, it's because you were not connecting that activity to the vision. Maybe you had the vision, but it just got a little cloudy over time, or when you missed the mark on completing a goal. And I can tell you guys, like, I'm the queen of missing the target of my goal and just having to reset it. And so I really hope that after this call tonight, you guys can just take some time to either like dust off your vision, like get the cloudiness out of there and just get it so crystal clear. Or maybe for the first time in your business, really take time to sit down and break down what is the vision for your business. What do you want your journey with Arbonne to look like? What goals are you working towards? What would X amount of dollars do for your family? Because it is so important. And so I think a lot of us, have at times in our business, I know I have become, oh my gosh, I can't speak tonight, oh my gosh, what is happening to my brain? Have been guilty of just checking boxes, right? If you're just checking the boxes, like I did my 5 reach outs, I did my 3 follow-ups, I reached out to this person, you feel like you're accomplishing it because you're checking the boxes, but in all reality, you're kind of on autopilot. And I want to ask you something. How many times do you think the people that you're reaching out to feel like they're just a box being checked? Because if you don't have that passion in your heart and you don't have the vision that you're working towards, it's going to feel like autopilot. And a lot of times the people that we're reaching out to can actually sense that as well. Okay. So 3 things I want to talk about. Number 1, vision makes the activity fun. And I don't know about you guys, but I love it when my business feels fun. I was talking to Miss Mallory on here. I know she's on here somewhere. You guys, Mal is on freaking fire. Like seriously, Mallory, put in the comments how many people you guys have sponsored. She's working so hard to finish up Region. Literally every 20 minutes, she's putting a new consultant on our team page, it feels like. And it's just so fun to watch. But when you are inactivity like that, sorry, I'm just muting some lines here. When you're in activity like that, it's fun, right? And it's fun because Mallory has a vision of where she's going. She has a vision of where she's taking her team. And when she was talking to me on the Vox, I was getting hyped up because I'm like, I want to follow her. Like, I want to go where she's going. I'll go with you because she's just so on fire and she's so crystal clear and she's committed to the work. But the work is fun because her heart is in it. And so it's heart-led action instead of desperate action. Does that make sense? And so you need to be at a place where you can see, read, and look at your vision every single day. So when I was going Region, I had post-it notes everywhere. We do it all the time of like, how many lives do we need to change to hit our goal? Like, start tracking it again, you guys. Start posting it again. I feel like there was a huge shift over the last few years where it kind of just became it was like a thing of the past to like put up trackers or put up goal sheets. My girl, Allison Hansen, she still to this day tracks every single thing every single month because there is something euphoric about checking off the boxes and knowing that you're working towards your goal. So not only have your vision here in your head, but have it somewhere where you can see it every single day. Maybe that's on a little 3x5 note card that you put next to your nightstand. So it's one of the first things you see in the morning. Maybe it's a screensaver on the back of your phone, a post-it note in your car, something on your refrigerator. Because seeing that action and keeping it in front of you is going to keep that conviction alive in your heart. The actions don't necessarily change. It's the mindset shifts that make the activities feel different, right? We're truly coming from a place of service. I love that. It's on your bathroom mirror, your phone background. I can't see the rest of it. If it doesn't feel fun to you right now, you guys, this is why. And you need to get out of the cycle of checking boxes so that other people aren't feeling like that too, and figure out what it is that you are doing that you are working towards in this business. And I don't know how you guys track your business, but a lot of us use a DMS sheet or the 90 strong workbook. I don't think it's a coincidence that one of the first things on the top of that sheet is what? Your gratitude. Because if you start your day, a lot of people just think that these things are just random things that leaders put together to make busy work. And it's not. When you're taking the first 1 to 2 minutes of your activity and you're writing down the things that you're thankful for, it's changing your heart posture. It's changing, you're going to have an overflow of like an abundance of gratitude as you're reaching out and asking people. So don't skip those parts. If you are at a place right now where you feel stagnant in your activity, then I really want to encourage you to, after you work on your vision component, start working on the gratitude component and see if that shifts the way that you start reaching out to people. Okay. So number 1, vision makes the activity fun. Number 2, let's talk about the importance of IPA, okay? So we all know there's a million different ways you can work this business, right? And the cool thing about where we're at today is you can truly build this in a way that is authentic to you. When I started my business, you literally had the one option. You met people for in-home presentations, and we all had the same system, and we figured it out. And even if you hated in-home presentations, you pretty much did it, or you did a lot of one-on-ones. I love that we are in an industry and in a time where there's so many ways that you can build this business, right? So, income producing activity, though, can be confusing for a lot of people because they can sit at home and they can organize lists, or they can send out samples, or they can do all the things and feel like they're working. I want to challenge you guys to think of income producing activity as something that is putting the business, the full business conversation, the full Arbonne story in front of somebody. So a business appointment, a one-on-one, a virtual presentation, an in-home presentation. Yes, some of the things like samples or posting on your stories or those things will equate in the long run to income producing activity, but you're going to move your business further and faster if you're focusing on income producing activity being the things that help you tell the full Arbonne story. Okay. The next thing with income producing activity is I want you to ask yourself, what have I been justifying? What have you been letting slide by as income producing activity? Maybe you're making your greens really consistently every single morning on your Instagram story. And you're like, check income producing activity. But is that something that you're justifying by making it feel like you're doing the income producing activity, but it's actually keeping you from doing that reach out that you're absolutely terrified to make? Okay. So what have you been justifying? If you're not honest with yourself, we're going to keep doing the same thing. The cycles will stay the same, and we'll get to the end of the day and we'll feel a little guilty that we didn't do more. I remember back in the very beginning of my business, when it was just primarily in-home presentations, Donna Johnson always used to say, the stress of an empty calendar is so much greater than the stress of a full calendar. And I think so often we put off doing things, booking the one-on-one, booking the virtual presentation, booking the coffee appointment, because we're like already overwhelmed with our schedules, right? Everybody on here is probably at max capacity, whether you have 0 kids, 10 kids, you've got 2 jobs, no jobs. Like we all are doing the best we can with the plates that we're juggling, right? And I want to challenge you guys to get really efficient booking the activity and seeing how your stress levels change. Because I know when I have a list of, let's just say 10 people that I've been putting off asking for something to share the Arbonne story with them, that stress is so much greater than just getting through the list, getting those conversations scheduled and moving on to the next thing. Okay. So let's stop justifying the the IPAs that we think that we're doing. And let's start getting really honest about the cycles that we need to break, because a lot of times we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm doing XYZ. I should be, how many of you have ever said, I feel like I should be so much further than where I am? Okay. Like I literally said that about a specific goal that I'm tracking to somebody 2 weeks ago. But sometimes we need to just break the cycle of the justification to get to where we want to go. Okay. Start tracking your IPAs. I don't care if you do a DMS sheet. I don't care if you do a note on your phone. I don't care if you do the 90 strong book, whatever your upline is recommending. I would say work towards that. But at the end of the day, we all operate differently. Our brains are all wired differently. I track a lot on my phone, but I still feel really productive when I'm pen to paper. So I still track a lot on my calendar too. But because I'm in a place where my schedule is a little bit more chaotic, I am juggling more plates than I ever have. I have found a system in my phone that works really good for me, that no matter where I'm at, and it's not an organized system, so nobody asks me what it is because it's literally, it's just in my notes. But no matter where I'm at, there's no excuse. I can't say, oh, I don't have my calendar. Oh, I don't have my notebook. Oh, I don't have my 90 strong book. Like I have my core of my activity right in my phone so that I can work on IPAs regardless of where I'm at. If you are sharing Arbonne, but you are not sharing the business, it's a waste of time. Okay. Think about that. So that was not Brittany's quote. She quoted another person who said it in a training. So I can't give it full props to who it was. But in this training, the girl said, if you are sharing Arbonne and you are not sharing the full business, it is a waste of time, your time and that person's time. And I think we need to kind of think through this, because I know a lot of us like to drip with the products and think that the funnel is going to go from products to business. The other group of people think the funnel should start at the business and work down to products. But when you really take a step back, and I also want to preface this by saying, I know that if you've been here for, let's say, longer than 12 months, you know there was a really strong push in 2022 and 2023 to sell, 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 sell. And it was a less of a focus on consultants. That's not who we are at our core. And I'm so thrilled that we're getting back to leading with the business. And so I know it kind of feels sometimes like whiplash, like, oh my gosh, now they want us to focus on the business. And I apologize for that. It is so healthy to have a really good client base and to have that strong foundation. But you guys, the business partners is what's going to build the legacy business for your family. And it's what's going to change their lives. Okay. Most people are not going to sleep. We know this, worrying about bloat or puffy eyes. Most people are going to sleep worrying about how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to keep their kid in private school, how they're going to be able to stay home with their baby when it comes. And when you share Arbonne with somebody and you just tell them about the products and they don't know about the income opportunity attached to it, we're wasting both of our times. Because if that person's going to bed at night and she's interested in greens, but she's also panicked about how she's going to pay her bills, you could have given her hope in that conversation. And sometimes we don't, because we're so worried about what they're going to think of us, right? And so if we can just start finding a way to share the whole freaking story with people in that first exposure in a non-spammy way, it could be life-changing for both parties. Okay, so, and I also think we need to remember too, like I said about Brittany, what was your story when you started? I think a lot of people, because they started with products, they think people have to try these products to be able to love them and have their own results before I can talk to them about the business. And you don't. Brittany never used a product. You guys, I never used a product when I started this business. I literally took the product samples, put them to the side, looked at the income compensation summary that was in my sample pack, and was like, okay, show me how to make $200. See, Tara Landis, MVP, she didn't either. So don't think that people have to be incredible like product users and consumers before you can share the business with them. Tom Barrett says there is a trick that you can do when you're experiencing fear. There's a trick that you can do to trick your brain out of fear. Okay. Split your activity into 3 different categories. Who are you asking? Let me mute somebody. Sorry. Who are you asking? What are you asking? And when are you asking? So often we sit down to work and it's just paralyzation, right? Because we're so panicked with the massive list, the multitude of options that we can ask. Is it the best time to ask them? Should I wait till after they're done with work? Should I wait till they're done with school pickups? Blah, 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 blah. So if you can trick your brain by literally breaking down those 3 categories. Okay, so let's pretend, okay, it is Monday. So for Monday, for the week, I'm going to look at my calendar. What activity is happening this week that I can invite people to? Okay, there's an opportunity event this night. I'm going to have a wellness walk on this day. I then can go through and say, I'm going to invite Sally to the opportunity call. I'm going to invite Jesse to the walk. You're going to sort your list. Okay. And if you don't have any activity, then you got to figure out why you're reaching out to people. Then you're going to, that second part is, what am I asking them? And the third part is, when are you asking them? And so you literally maybe you have a really killer morning routine and you want to start doing 1 scary ask a day. in your morning routine, how freeing would it feel if you knew before you went to bed who your scary ask was going to be for the next day? Okay, so it's Monday. I know that tomorrow I'm going to ask Laura to look at the business. So then what if tomorrow morning in my morning routine, I type out my message to Laura? I think about it. I get it perfect. I don't send it because it's 5 in the morning. I don't want to send Laura a business invitation at 5 in the morning. So I'm going to just write the message and I'm going to leave it there. And then later in the afternoon, all I have to do is hit send, because I know that that's going to be a good time for Laura. I've already got the emotions out of writing it. I already knew who I was writing it to. And so if you get paralyzed in fear over the activity, consider doing that trick of who you're asking, what you're asking, and when you're asking, and start breaking it down into 3 categories and just see if that helps you at all. Okay. If you don't stay in activity, you will slowly lose belief. And so I want to ask you guys, if you are struggling right now with finding joy in your activity, or struggling in creating that vision for your business and for your family, is it because you're not doing enough of the activity that you know you need to do? Action leads to belief and momentum. And so often people wait for momentum to jump in. It's like, oh my gosh, everybody's blowing it up in Arbonne. Oh my gosh, look at how many people are adding to being added to the team. Now I'm going to jump in. Now I'm going to work my business. It doesn't work like that, you guys. You've got to start doing the activity now, and that's where the momentum will come. Okay. The struggle is what leads to the strengths. You're never going to hear yeses if you don't hear no's. So start, yes, Mallory, start working in the dark so you guys can start winning in the light. Number 3, activity. Number 3 is activity needed to create the income needed to fulfill your vision. Okay, so let's break that down. That's actually from Hal Elrod. He's the one that wrote Miracle Morning. So activity needed to create the income needed to fulfill your vision. So once you guys know what your vision is and you're like so crystal clear on it, you're going to have that income goal, because the income goal is ultimately what leads to fulfilling the vision for a lot of people, right? And I never like being so focused on like the income goal, because it doesn't feel, I just don't like it. But you guys, at the end of the day, that's what we have to focus on. When I started getting my biggest checks, that's when I started being able to make the biggest impact, not only for my family, but for people around me. And so maybe your goal is, I really want to send my kids to private school. You're just in a place where maybe you don't like the public systems. Maybe you're in a place where you can't homeschool. And let's just say it's going to cost you $40,000 a year to send your kids to private school. Okay. Then you know what type of activity you need to fulfill that vision, right? So what activity are you going to commit to doing? And again, this is where the trickiness comes in, because there is so many different options. And I think for some people, it's like throwing spaghetti at a wall. We're going to do all the different things, the virtual, the in-person, the phone calls, the sample packs, the Facebook, the social, and whatever sticks, that's what you're going to start doing. And in some ways that's good. The problem is that all of the activity works if you do enough of it consistently. And so I really want you to take some time and think about what feels authentic to me. What kind of activity would make my heart come alive when I'm sharing it with people, and just commit to doing that over and over and over and over again for the next 90 days. How often do you need to be sharing the full Arbonne story to start working towards paying for that vision? When we used to do in-home presentations, it was so easy to track the activity needed, because we would always say the average in-home presentation for us was about 500 QV, right? And so it was simple. It was like, if I want to do 5,000 QV, I need to do 10 presentations. If one canceled, we'd book another one. If we had 12, then we were hopeful that maybe we'd have a little bit over the 5,000, but it was so easy to kind of break down and hit that volume target. And so whatever it is right now for you that you feel is working for you activity wise, I want to encourage you to just stick with it. I am going to share with you, and I will get this to all of the MVPs, so don't panic if they don't have it tonight, but I am going to share with you one thing that Brittany shared in her training. And this is a presentation that Linda Parker put together. So if you don't know, Linda Parker is like one of our top national vice presidents. And a few months back, she did a training on the power of the duplication behind the green synergy in a box of fizz. Okay. Anybody heard of U+9? So it's this theory that if you yourself every month as the consultant are buying a box of, I can't remember the name of the bundle right now, but the box of Green Synergy and Fizz, and you're helping 9 people do the same thing. You're making, I think it's $254 a month in commission. And so are anybody else on your team that's doing that. But the way that this duplicates as you bring people on board is crazy. And so Linda put together a 15-minute presentation. I'm going to see actually if I can just pull it up here quick. I know we're getting close to the end, but I'm almost done, guys. I can't find it. So I'll get it sent out to the MVPs, but she put together a 15-minute presentation that has 8 slides. Okay. The 8 slides go through who Arbonne is, why these products are amazing, the power of gut health, what is happening in our country right now with the focus on gut health, the way that the industry of gut health is projected to grow to a multi-billion-dollar industry just in gut health alone, how these 2 products play into that, how you can make a killer residual income by selling these 2 products. And you're telling the full Arbonne story in 15 minutes. You're telling the products, you're telling the business. And so Brittany, when the girl that I'm borrowing her training from, when she heard this presentation come out, she started to feel really convicted about her level of activity, and she's working for Nation. And she just had this moment where she was like, if I can focus on selling 200 or doing 250 of these 15-minute presentations in the year 2024, let's break that down. She's like, if every 10 presentations I do, let's pretend 1 person says yes to the business. That's a good average, 1 in 10. She's like, if I did 250 of these 15-minute presentations, it would take her about an hour a week if she really keeps it to 15 minutes. I'd get an average of 1 new consultant for every 10. That would be 25 new consultants by the end of the year. And she's like, I have never, so I know some people sponsor so many more than 25. Some people don't even come close, but she's like, I personally have never sponsored 25 direct consultants in 1 year. And the cool thing about this presentation that Brittany is realizing is that when she's sharing the full story, not only has her conversion rate been higher than the 1 out of 10, she's getting an over 50% rate of PC signups, because most people are hearing this full Arbonne story and they say, you know what, I'm not ready to commit to the business, but I really want that bloat package that you talked about. And she's getting new consultants. When she started this with her team, they signed up 25 new PCs the last week of the month. And this is one of the easiest presentations that I've seen. So maybe you're at a place, and here's the thing, I'm not throwing a new trick at you. I'm not saying this presentation and this video call, because she's literally doing them on Zoom. She's asking people from all the way back 11 years ago when she started in her business. I've got sample verbiage that she's using as well that I'll send out to you guys. She's a busy mom. She's like, Danielle, I can take 4 people a day if I wanted to and sit and go back to back to back, because this presentation is so simple. So maybe you're already doing something like that's working like magic for you. You guys don't feel like you have to switch, but if you're sitting here and you're stagnant and you're like, I don't even know what kind of activity I want to do. I'm so overwhelmed with all of the nutrition and like the maybe the 30 days healthy living feels massive to you. Maybe you're overwhelmed with the skincare lines. Like, this is 2 products that you could focus on with a powerful call that you could do starting tomorrow, right? So whatever activity you are doing, I want you to set a goal attached to your vision and find a way to track it, okay? And then as we close out this month tomorrow, cannot believe it that we're heading into May. And as we head into the next month of the year, I want to challenge us as a Boom Squad to just commit to leading ourselves well, right? We cannot lead others unless we're leading ourselves. And this is the time that the Boom Squad needs to be on the offensive, not the defensive, right? For so long, we've been on defense. We're trying to bring people back to life. We're trying to help people get their vision back. We're trying to say, no, you can go area again. You can go region again. You can do this. And you guys, I love everybody on my team, but I am not at a place anymore at all where I have the mental capacity to convince people that they can do this business, because there are so many people out there that want an opportunity like this. So we need to go on offense, go find new people This was from Miranda Burcham, and we've heard this before, but when she said it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I need to just make my mantra. This is going to be one of the most important pieces that you guys have heard this entire call. Okay. Stop trying to think of new things to say to old people and start saying old things to new people. We all know the old things. We know how incredible this company is. We know what our founder did. We know our history in this company. We know our product standards. We know that we're B Corp certified. We know that there's nobody else in the market that has a compensation plan like us, right? Take those old pieces of truth that are so powerful and go breathe them into new people, because there is nothing that we need to do. We do not need to keep coming up with new things to try and motivate people who just want to stay in a place where they're blaming or they're justifying and are choosing not to move forward. And if that's where they're at, that's 100% fine. I know that's not you guys because you're on the call, right? All of you guys want something different out of your business. All of you want to grow to the next level. And I'm so proud of you and I'm here for it. So with that being said, 4 ingredients to success. Okay. We're going to go real quick. Number 1, determine what you want. This is your vision. Figure it out. Tell me, tell your upline, tell your sideline, post it on your team page, whatever that is. Number 2, decide what you are willing to reschedule or give up in order to get what you want. Sometimes you got to make shifts. Sometimes you got to say no to things to fit other things in. Okay. Number 3, associate with people who will help you get what you want. Are you talking to your upline? You guys, your upline is invested in your success, right? It is mutually beneficial for them to be invested in your business. Ask them where you can improve. Ask them where, if they see something that you could be doing differently. Lock arms with a sideline peer. Okay. If your group of friends is super anti-network marketing, maybe you need to, for your own belief and for your own mental sake, maybe you need to hang out with them a little bit less while you're in the running stage of building your business. Number 4, have a plan that works and work your plan.
Right.
It's that simple. So figure out what your plan is. What is the activity that you're committing to doing? Who cares what everybody else is doing? What are you committing to doing that you can do over and over and over again with a heart-led conviction, so it doesn't feel spammy and so that they don't feel like you're just checking a box. Figure out what that plan is and then work the plan. Success in network marketing is not about talent. It's about tenacity and steady plotting. And you guys, I am super, super pumped about what is happening in this team. I know I've said it before, and we want you guys to be a part of the explosion, right? We are freaking better together. And I cannot wait to be with everybody so soon at GTC. So if you're not registered yet, get registered. There is no virtual this year. So in order to be there, or to experience it, you got to be there in person. But I love you guys. Finish the month strong. May is coming and it is going to be unhinged with excitement and goodies. I'm telling you, it's going to be so worth it though to finish the month strong. So you are running into the new month. So congrats to everybody who's working hard for goals. We are cheering you on, and have a great rest of your night.